Okay, so once you've got your beast output, you need to actually look at the output, and particularly we want to look at the trees. So to create a tree, you could use density tree, or you can use tree annotator to generate the trees from the set of trees that you have in your trees file. So in trees annotator, the first 10% you remove as burn-in percentage. Then you want to create a maximum Clade credibility tree, and I don't like the common ancestor heights, so I'm going to change this to median heights because it's more robust. So once you've done that, you need to choose the file that has an output from beast, which contains the tree files. So what it's done is for each one of the runs it would generate a tree, but they're only saved every 5,000 or 10,000 iterations of the program. So these are then the trees file. And you need to choose an output file, which usually will have pretty much the same name as the other one, but instead of being trees, multiple, you're going to condense them into a single tree. So I usually have a name based on the tree file that I'm loading from the beast output, and then just change it slightly to give it a different name. So once that's done, you want to click on the low memory button, which is important because sometimes otherwise it goes wrong, and press run. So this will process the 9001 trees that are in the file. It does it very quickly, and then we can just quit the program out and go and look at the tree itself. So the tree itself is that file which says .tree. Now we're going to use Figtree to view it. So I'll open Figtree 1.4.4, that happens to be the one they've gone there, and then we open the file. So remember, it is the tree file itself, not the .trees file. So I've just got a bit of there, found it. Now open. So there is the initial tree file. So the distance at the bottom, that tells you in days or years, or years in this case, and you can convert that scale to, you can convert the legend to a scale. So that's the first thing to do. Once you've got the scale, now we need to try and make this look a bit better. So I'm put on points for both the leaf node, the nodes, and also for the leaves. So now I've got little circles on both of those positions just to make it look slightly nicer. Now the problem with each of those names is it doesn't contain the clades. So the names are truncated. It just contains the number from GISAID, which are the EPI numbers, and then a slash, and then it says A. Now this is unfortunate because this is not the information that I actually want and need. What I want is the information about what each of the clades are in. So if I actually go back and look at the original FASTA file for that sequence and look in Notepad, you can see that if I had the full data about that, it's telling me that first clade is 0, the next one's 1.1, and so on. But when I'm looking at my tree, I can't see that information. So I'm going to have to edit the tree and edit the information to put the clades numbers on it so that I can see how the H5 naming and clade nomenclature developed within this tree. Now this is a bit unfortunate because that's a fairly difficult process. So unfortunately it's not embedded in the name thing itself, even if I try putting looking to see if the name is actually completely there. So I'm going to have to do something else to try and sort out this problem. I'm going to have to open the tree file itself and then do some edits to the names so that I can get what I actually need. So as I said, if I go to the faster file, I can see the full annotations that I want to include. So now I'm going to have to open the file for the tree. So I open this particular tree file using Notepad++, and I'm going to have to edit it. So this is what the Nexus file looks like. It's got all of those headings, those titles for each of the leaves, for each of the sequences. So it's got them twice. So the first time it's just got the name, and the second time it's got the name after a number. There's 28 sequences in this particular file. So what I need to do is edit that so that it contains the clade information. And I'm actually going to edit it so I remove those EPI numbers and just replace those numbers with the clade annotations. So this is what the file looks like after I've finished doing the annotations and the changes. Now, it's important to save this as a new version of the file, so save it as clades edited.tree so that you've got the original tree and this new one, so that you know that you've not completely destroyed it forever. There's one last thing that I needed to add, which is an underscore in the EA and the AM non-GST, because it needs a single set of characters to represent the names of each of them. Now I can open this file that's been edited in Figtree. So I end up, if I open the Figtree, open that new edited file, I make it bigger so it's full screen. So now I've got the clades, and I can go through the process again of looking at the tree. So I can switch off the legend, I can put on the scale axis, I can do the scale, reverse the scale axis so it's going from 0. I can put on the tip shapes, the node shapes, I can change the size of the labels so that they are size 12, and there I've got my tree. So in this one I've actually done a bit of a compromise, so I have the EA non-GSD and all those particular ones, but I've actually just replaced the A with the numbers rather than deleting the complete EPI number as well. So I've not just got the clade name, I've got the EPI number and the clade name in this particular version. So I can put on the node bars, which show you the variation in the number of years. So this is a sort of confidence interval for when those are split. It's actually a probability interval because this is a Bayesian model. So you can tell how many years ago the H5 originated. So it's somewhere between, well, 70, 80 years ago. So you're looking at an origin point somewhere between the end of the First World War and the beginning of the Second World War, which is interesting because H1 was, which is Spanish flu, was associated with the end of the First World War.